Welcome to the Mischief. I'm Valen, and this is ModJam 5. I'm not affiliated with anyone from ModJam, nor was I asked to do this video for anyone but me. This video is intended to give a sample of some, if not all, of the entries in ModJam 5. Please vote for your favorite, and check them out. Links are in the description below. Lastly, don't base your opinion of the mods entirely on what I do or don't show here, as I'm not an expert on these mods. These mods, and myself, may not be in working order and are to be considered potentially work in progress, like myself. There are 4 categories: solo mods, team mods, solo maps, and team maps. This video is to represent the solo mods. So I've disabled all other mods except for each one that I will be trying to show you as they come up. The first mod I'm showing you today, in no particular order, is Admin Shop, which just brings in a few small things. It's created by Vnator, and if I spawn these in here, you'll see that they're actually quite interesting. It's more for a multiplayer scenario. The recipes are some basic things. They may change over time, as you can see here. And they've got a few different items. To start with, there is an ATM. And to give an example, and yes, that means automated teller machine or a cash machine. So if I access this with a right click, it brings up something in here saying that I have a balance of $100, or 100 monies in this case. I can actually withdraw 20 or any amount that I want, and I get a check in my inventory for that amount. If I want to put it back, I just right click and just shift right click, and I deposit the $20 check into my account. And therefore I can actually use this to trade with others on a server for other items. And yes, some of the textures may be work in progress, so just kind of ignore that. But otherwise, we've got a shop as well to coincide with that. You click on here, has a few items that you could potentially, purchase. If I get some stone, some of this and some of this, I can actually buy stone here just by clicking on it. If I want to buy a stack, shift, click. Pretty simple. And I've used up a bunch of money. But if I want to sell stuff, I can also do the same thing. Click one at a time or shift click and sell an entire stack, therefore obtaining certain items, and so on. It's pretty cool. And then lastly, we have the seller, which looks kind of like some kind of multi-pipe structure. Right click on here, and you can attach to it different kinds of items, fluid or energy hookups, so that you can then sell those as well. Potentially via a shop. And this is the basic idea of the mod. That's pretty much it. Yeah, you can use checks to kind of use those to sell them. Yeah, it doesn't exactly give you more than you have in your account, sadly. But there you go. Admin Shop by Vnator. The next mod we have is titled Breadcrumb Trail by Quat1024. And this adds a very low-tech way of finding your way around, specifically more along the lines of caverns and such like that, by making breadcrumbs, which is simply just putting bread in there and you get a little bit of some breadcrumbs. You can then use those individually on the ground. You can also use them to feed things like parrots, but then they may also end up eating them as they go. Little jerk. But you get the idea here that some mobs will eat these, but you can use them as a way to find your way in tunnels. How that works is is better with breadcrumb pouch, which the recipe for it is as such, with a little bit of breadcrumb there, and you get a closed one. You right click in the air to open or close it. While it's open, it will be active, and you can fill it. Therefore, you can take this plus a bunch of breadcrumbs, get that back out. Little visual glitch there, but it will end up filling itself up. A fair amount of crumbs. As you can see, there are different statuses of the volume that you can have in there. Then, as you go around the world, just by moving around, every now and then, you will automatically drop a breadcrumb so that you can find your way back, about every 10 blocks or so. Therefore, you have a way of actually just retracing your steps. Right-click again to close it, and you don't need it anymore. And you don't have to have it in your offhand. You can just have it in your inventory. But you will have to be careful, though, because you never know if your parrot friends or others may end up running around eating your breadcrumbs. This mod is titled Vinci Craft by Owen or Oster2000. There is a few simple items. You can make a wooden gear. There are wooden gearboxes that are made, as well as a stone gearbox. You can also create a crank, as you see here, and then you place that on top. You can wind up these gearboxes, and you can also craft a flying machine. Now, the recipe is not working for me in this current version, but from what I understand in the documentation, this is the recipe currently for it. Therefore, you'd get a flying machine from that. With this, you can then place the flying machine on top of one of these. Use it. There we go. Once you've wound it up enough, hopefully I kind of messed that one up there. I clicked too many times, but it gives you a limited flying mechanic. And yes, I am not in creative. I'm in normal mode. So if I press shift right now, I'm pretty much going to die. But there may also be controls for going down and such like that. But it's just a limited flying mechanic. That's pretty much it. I mean, it does seem like a work in progress to me currently, but it looks like it's got some promise to it. This next one is called Demonology by DCatcher. This one here is kind of like a bit of a progression mod of like demon magic type stuff. It's pretty cool. It's got a little boss in there and everything. It's actually a little bit better than I had expected. Now, this one here has a few blocks that you can create. A basic soul altar, which is going to be your crafting table for this mod. A couple blocks of coal and some smooth stone. And then later on, you'll be able to create a ritual stone, which actually isn't that expensive to make, but as far as using it will be. So you'll also notice that I'm fully geared up with some diamond armor. I've got magical enchanted weapons and stuff. It's not to be taken lightly. So the basic soul altar will hold up to 6 items. You can put a bunch of things on here. For now, I'm just putting on 6 stone for an example. And then you have to have levels to donate, and shift right click takes away a lot of health and a little bit of your, a little bit of your food. Maybe it didn't actually need the levels, and that was just something that I did. But it created, in this case, some demonic rods, which are going to be useful later on. But for now, just know that those are part of something else. One of the first things instead that you should craft up is going to be a knife, which is going to be a stick, a couple iron ingots, and a piece of stone. Shift right click with an empty hand. Donate your blood and hunger, and you get yourself one of these. A ritual knife, which by itself is similar to, your average sword or something like that. 6 attack damage, 1.6 attack speed. This one I have here is sweeping edge 3 and sharpness 5, so it's going to be a bit better and a little bit more effective. And it will help you to obtain souls. Now, if you kill mobs in the world with a ritual knife, they have potential to have, lost souls may spawn, like this little guy here. And if that happens, then you have potential to actually capture one. And you can't do so without a soul flask. Now, a soul flask is made with 3 glass and 3 stone. And then, of course, you're going to want to have an empty hand and a full health bar. And once you're all set, then you can shift right click and you can create that soul vial, which with it, or soul flask, it will tell you the number of souls it can store. Now, this one here, I have 12 in it. Now, just because something is killed in this manner, there you go, does not mean it's going to actually increase in the number of souls. You have a chance, I believe it's a 10% chance of collecting a soul. And if one of those little white ones that showed up that I showed you, a little lost soul here, shows up, then you can potentially, when that happens, you instantly are getting one into your soul flask. Now, alternate to that, you're going to want to get about 40 of those. While hunting mobs and killing things, you will probably run into another foe, and that's going to be the Wraith, which the Wraith looks like so, and has a nasty attack to launch at you, which you don't want any part of, because he launches you in the air. You just want to try and kill him and get another soul out of it. He's pretty good for just obtaining a soul. Yes, you can attack these as well and, try and kill them off before they expire. Otherwise, they'll just disappear in the world. But you can see I now have another soul in here. So that's great, right? Once you get 40 souls, which actually I have one here. There we go. That's got 52 in it right now because I did some farming earlier. You can use that in combination with your new runic altar, or runic stone, rather. You're going to want 4 blocks of diamond for this, 1 for each of the flat sides. Then you're going to want to drop your flask with the 40 plus souls in it on top of it, and then you shift right click on the ritual stone. Now, you're going to want to be prepared for the battle that follows. Make sure that you've got either a blast protected area or what, but then a boss will spawn. From that boss, which I will show you momentarily, it may drop an eye, an evil eye. Combine that with 3 demonic rods and you get a pulsating wand, which is similar to the Wraith's attack that we just saw, where you can hurl a projectile that does damage and also may hurl things into the air. Let's see if I can line it up with one of these cows up here and maybe you'll see them. It didn't actually hit properly, but it will potentially launch them up into the air about 5 blocks or so if you hit them proper. Now, let's just do a little bit of this so you can see this, and the flask itself will actually leave any excess souls inside of it. For now, I'm just running away from this giant eye, which shoots 3 at a time, mind you. So you're going to want a big playing field or else you're going to end up getting destroyed quickly. And there you go. Demonology, folks. Demonology. Whoa! This mod is called Die It Yourself, or DIY, by Poke1650. It gives the idea of if you have a whole bunch of sheep, they can determine their own colors. If you have your traditional Minecraft sheep that you spawn into the world, they will change colors according to what they eat. In this case, they've got some pink tulips, yellow dandelions, red poppies, we've got some orange ones, and of course, yes, you've got your random chance of just getting some regular colored sheep as well. As they eat things, they will turn into different colors, as you can see here. And, you know, you've got your traditional vanilla ones. So that's the base idea of it, but there is a little bit more to it. Over time, as these guys will start eating their stuff, they will start, well, defecating the colors that they actually are. So if they're the traditional white, then they would drop some kind of white. If they are pink or something like that, or red, they would, well, exude that applicable dye over time. So if you want, you can actually have a dye creating mechanic using these sheep with Die It Yourself by Poke1650. This entry is called the EDX Multipart by Dr. Codex. It basically allows you to place multiple things in the same block area. For example, you've got 5 buttons in one area. Pretty impressive. Then you've got like torches and redstone torches can all be placed in similar areas as well, as you can see. Plus, you've got other things like slabs can all be interspersed between each other and individually harvested. So I could just grab this here and grab that one slab from in that area and so on. On top of that, we have buttons, as you said, but also levers can be placed in between or sharing same space with other things. Now, moving further, we can still go on with fences as well. You can actually, put things in between your fence and the wall, including buttons and torches and stuff. Yeah, as an example here, you can see it's normally connecting, and it's connecting to the double stacked of different types. Then we've got pressure plates. Now, it doesn't affect all the pressure plates. As you can see here, there are these on the end that are not affected, but you can share with a pressure plate, more or less. It's an aesthetic thing at this point because these don't actually function. The 2 at the end do because they're not interfering with anything sharing the same space with them. And that's pretty much it. It's a really cool one that allows you to get a little bit more functionality out of a much tighter space. Or EDX Multipart by Dr. Codex. This mod is called Endthereal by Pengu61151. It gives you a lot more end options and makes a little bit more use of the Bane of Arthropods, as well as adds a few, or at least a, new mob. Once you've found your end portal, you can, of course, as usual, create it, but your end portals can actually be created now, provided that you've got access to the end to begin with. And that's with popped chorus fruit, and you can place these down and actually mine them back up. Now, they will be destroyed unless you have Silk Touch on them, but at least you now have an option for creating your own end portal should you have any difficulty with just venturing out to find the one that you're looking for. Now, once you've gone into the end and fought yourself a dragon, You may, of course, find yourself a small portal that would help you get out to the far reaches of the outer islands. Once out here, you may encounter other creatures and beings. Namely, these little guys here. They're called Eedles. They kind of look like giant beetles of sort. They are a passive mob and neutral. They will not attack unless attacked. Now, if I change my game mode to 0, as you can see, I'm not being attacked there, currently using the spider sound and everything. If they are multiples around, you attack one, you attack them all. They do have some decent armor, and they can do some decent damage to you, as well as pick you up. So you got to be careful there. And they are susceptible to Bane of Arthropods, or Arthropods, enchantment, which then they don't really care for. As you can see here, I have a Bane of Arthropods here on there. I picked up some Elytron fragments, which changes how the Elytra is repaired. Usually, the recipe for this uses leather. It is no longer that case. It now requires Elytron fragments in order to repair it, which can be a little bit more fruitful and beneficial should you experience these guys. But you have to be careful because, as before, they will group attack you if you decide to take them on. And that was Endthereal by Pengu61151. This mod here is called Fracture by HellFirePvP. It's based upon teleporting chunks or sections, not necessarily like Minecraft chunks, but teleporting sections from one area to another, even interdimensionally. You'd have 2 to 3 devices you would need, a Fisher device base, a pillar, and a device. The pillar is optional at this point, and there are no recipes involved in there, but as you can see here, part of this tree is missing and there are pumpkins in this place. The reason being is that I already had tested this just to see that it would work, and it took the swamp trees in an area and swapped them out with this area where I originally had pumpkins. Now, if I were to take something like, let's say this, set this up, you don't need the centerpiece from what I understand, but you just set that in place. Then you set another one of these fracture devices, or the Fisher device. Let's put this in this area here. I'm going to put the bottom, middle, and top. And then you can, once that has formed on top, right click. You don't want to end up leaving the area during this because it will just falsify the area. It doesn't seem to have the preview rendering that it was intended. It's supposed to have a preview render of the area where the other device is. That is currently not functioning at this moment. There wasn't enough time for the author to actually make it. But if you were to follow through with this, you will be teleported along with all of this area back to the other zone. Now, if you just wait a moment, there's little fancy particles, and pow. Wait, aren't I in the same place? No, I'm not. I am now over where where the other section was. See, it took a big chunk out there, and part of the mountain is now missing and filled with what was in the other area. A nice little flat area with a little tree. There you go, Fracture by HellFirePvP. This mod here is called Globe by iChun. This mod actually takes a chunk of the landscape and turns it into a snow globe that you can either set down just by placing it down here, or you can actually put it on like a magnetic field here. Then you can punch it and make it snow. You can actually punch it on either side to rotate it in one direction or another as well, so that you can better admire your creation. And it will freeze time for everything that's in there as it is. So in order to create these things, there are only 3 items in here. A globe creator will be required. I have one of those. A globe stand, as you can see here, and these are black concrete, by the way, iron blocks and redstone. And then a globe, of course, is going to be one of these standard guys here, which requires a beacon, so it's not exactly that cheap. And I can just run over here. I've got a little bit of something going on. Just example of some things that we could put in place here. Put another guy in here. Put down the globe creator. Let's hope that the llama actually stays in place. He won't. They never do. So we'll put this guy over here. And we'll see if we can actually get this going. You put your globe in here. And when you are ready, you shift right click. Everything will start transforming. And the cube around it will be absorbed into your own little snow globe. Oh no, he's trying to escape. He escaped. Okay. Then you grab your new globe. You can place it down on your globe stand, as I showed before, or you can just place it in the world like so, and just a left click will allow you to better view it. In this case, I'm actually going to right-click this one, put that down, and then I can punch this and make it snow, and you can see the different things in here. Now, it doesn't keep all like the different effects. You can see that the current beacon is not actually shining, but it is pretty darn cool. So there you go, Globe by iChun. This mod is called Horse Tweaks by BlayTheNinth. This one adds a whole slew of different, well, tweaks that happen to horses. For example, if I have a saddle in my hand and I right-click on a horse that I've tamed, it will automatically put it on the horse instead of me having to enter an inventory screen first. Now, that one that I just put on there was actually an enhanced saddle for swimming. So if I go over water, you'll notice that I am currently in water and I'm not being dismounted from the horse. It's just I move very slowly. So therefore it is a saddle enhancement. Now a lot of these will have different recipes. As you can see, you've got your enhanced saddle for swimming, you've got Featherfall, Jump Assist, Frostwalker, Firewalker, Leaf Walker, and Thorns. And as most of them imply, they basically allow you to do some different things. Now I have this one here. Let's put Jump Assist on. So what this allows you to do, it removes the charge up bar. If you notice there at the bottom, it is currently full automatically. I just press the button and I have full jump. So therefore it no longer has that delay. You can have your horse just jump at random when you are ready to do so. Now another saddle here. Take that off. We've got the Thorns effect. Now it may not be very visible where I'm at currently, but if you look, your horse has thorny bums. A thorny bum. So what this allows you to do, if your horse takes damage, is that which attacks it will end up getting hit, and the damage done to the horse will actually be halved. So it's kind of a defensive mechanism as well as offense at the same time. Now you'll also notice that this took some damage. Over time, any of these enhanced saddles will take damage and will have to be repaired or replaced. Frostwalker is another one. As the name implies, it allows your horse to actually have the Frostwalker enhancement or enchantment so that you can cross water much easier than if you had the swimming one. Taking that off, there's the Leaf Walker enhancement, which is really nice, especially if you're in large forested areas. It allows you and your horse to go through leaves without much ado about any issue at all. Oh my gosh, it's very nice. Then, of course, we've got a Featherfall one, which a little bit more challenging to try and demonstrate. But if I have a horse that is up on a high area here and I jump off, it will help negate horse fall damage as well as my own. It may have shown it there, but the horse did not take any damage. And then, of course, we've got Firewalker as my horse slowly trots closer to the flames. No damage is done. Now, yes, I am currently in creative, but the pony is good. And you can see that lava is turned into magma, sort of like a Frostwalker effect for the Nether. So therefore, your pony will be a little bit safer in case there are some issues about this. And then, of course, there's like your super enhanced saddle. I don't think there's a recipe for this, though it is there available for creative mode. So you can do all the above as you want to and not have to worry about anything ever again. So there you go. Horse Tweaks by BlayTheNinth. But that's not all. There are a few other things that will happen. If you have a lead and you are using this with your horse, trying to get it to come near you and it snaps off. Instead, it goes back into your inventory instead of landing on the ground somewhere along the path where you were trying to lead your animal. And here's quite possibly the best upgrade of all. If you notice, my horse has not actually gone anywhere once I dismounted. That's right, you have set your horse to a home location by leaving it saddled and dismounting your horse. It will not actually wander off. It will stay where it's supposed to be. There you go. Horse Tweaks by BlayTheNinth. This mod is very simple and straightforward, but it has great advantages, and I don't think that it's really too overpowered. It's called Impart by the Icy One. You just need a furnace and an Eye of Ender. You can then smelt it up into an Eye of Tethering. By just clicking it, nothing really happens. But if you click and hold it, you'll see this little trail going off. When you let go, your soul is ripped from your body. Actually, if you can see, I've got kind of an avatar representing my body down there, and you can actually look around your environment. It's pretty darn handy for trying to get a lay of the land if you're lost and trying to see what things are on. There's the village I was looking for. Now, on top of that, you right-click again, and you go back into your body. Now, let's say that I need to get to the top of one of these trees so that I can better cut it down. Not a problem. Now I can use my iron axe, but you'll notice that my mining speed is severely reduced. But at least it allows me to access some of these harder to reach areas so that I don't need to worry about it anymore. Same thing with picks as well as attacking. You're at least reduced in your mining speed, though your attack is still going to be okay. Just be aware that you also are extremely weak when you are in this form, and therefore take extra damage and can be taken out quite easily. But it's an excellent tool also for building. So if you need to get to the top of a structure and place down some kind of blocks, then it's not exactly very difficult anymore, and you can just teleport back anytime you want just by clicking on here. Yes, it's infinitely reusable, and I find it to be a very handy building tool, as well as way of at least getting a lay of the land looking around. You might be able to get a tactical advantage in combat, but like I said before, you're also going to be in a weakened state. And that is Impart by the Icy One.